Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you another narrated Age of Empires 3 match. We have another British versus Japanese match, but this time it is on the map of Yukon, which is genuinely one of my favorite maps in all of the game. Of course, you have the river dividing the map with more resource-heavy, rich northern, or I should guess I say western half. You have the tons of trading posts and the abundant heritage, which as a Japanese player who's going to want a shrine boom, it is fabulous. And as a British player who's going to want to eat shrines and eat stuff, oh my goodness, eat stuff. As a British player who's going to want a lot of food for his boom, I'm sure he's going to appreciate it as well. Now, this match, I should forewarn you, it's a good match to watch because it's a clinic on what not to do and what to do. And I say that in that, like, you saw there how that villager comes out of the TC, and I want to put on the wood crate, but I accidentally walked past a wood crate, and then I walked to the tree, and then I walked to the wood crate. It's kind of that kind of match. If that was the match, that was the match summed up in just a little action. Like, just a little things just not quite going right. I mean, I knew what should be going right, but it wasn't quite happening just right the entire time. But it still ended up being a fabulously fun, very competitive, even match. And let me actually preface by saying, I actually had it against a former NOFW member. I, of course, was a member of the Nation of Warriors way back in the day. If you watch some of my older footage, I actually introduced myself as a Big Thunderman or whatever from Nation of Warriors, and I actually was there with some friends, and so I mean I was there for like 5-6 months actually while I was getting my start in YouTube, because after I started my YouTube channel, I was contacted by them and they're like, hey, come join us, we have our own YouTube channel. And of course eventually out of that, Big Thunderman grew to be his own thing, and my good buddy Interjection grew to be his own thing as well. So it was kind of fun for me to play with a former clan member of mine who actually recognized me, and I was surprised. And he's like, oh yeah, I know you were a former NOFW member. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it was actually a lot of fun to play with a former clan member and just do that. And so that actually kind of stressed me out a little bit too, because I'm like, frack, I'm going to suck. But as you can see here, I haven't been making villagers for the last few minutes. And the reason why was because after the last game, where I didn't build the Portuguese consulate, I thought, well, maybe I should build the consulate first and foremost. And the results, of course, is that I have this long idle period where I'm not making any villagers, because I was waiting for the consulate to be built, and I was waiting for the consulate upgrade, and then I was waiting, or the home city card upgrade to come. And I ended up staying at 10 villagers for forever. And it was so bad. Like, honestly, there's no way to describe this amount of idle time I've had not making villagers. It automatically puts me 6 points, 20% behind him in economy, at least by score at this point in the game. I'm at 25, he's at 33. He's got an 8-point lead, which is about a 33% bigger than my actual score. So he's gathered 33% more resources than I have at this point in time. It's just like, holy crap, like, how could I... See, this is a problem. When you narrate YouTube videos of a game, right, and you play a strategy game, and you want to keep, providing fresh content, you're constantly trying to do new things. And so I don't really sit with a single civilization and master it. I'm always just going civ to civ to civ to civ to civ when I do get to play. And so this was a case where it was actually a little bit of a disadvantage, because I did my Japanese build order wrong. And so it's okay. I end up to pull out, and as you can tell by the length of this match, 23 minutes, it does end up being a very, very solid, very, very good match. So don't freak out. But I definitely screwed up my beginning there, and it really freaked me out. So, but meanwhile, I'm just trying to get my things on herds, and I'm trying to get some villagers on wood, some on food. I'm trying to like optimize and try to catch up, and it's just like a disaster. I feel from right now on that I'm behind the 8 ball. He's got 40 points in score. I've got 30. So now he's a full 10. Still about 33% ahead of me. And of course, he's probably mana booming. And I'm just like, frack. Actually, I was saying worse words than that. But Battlestar Galactica coming out there. I was just freaking out. I'm like, this is over. I'm going to lose this match. And then he's going to go tell all the former clan people how much I suck. And I, of course, am just like, well, holy crap, this is awkward as balls. But I'm going to keep playing because never give up, never surrender. Ooh, we should start that as a new BTM motto. Never give up, never surrender. But jokes aside, I want to start shrine booming around these middle herds, and he's already putting down manners. And so it's going to kind of be like this race to see who can build on things better and faster. And I'm like, just like, crap, he's ahead of me, and what am I going to do? And I can't build more shrines yet. I'm waiting on the wood. So then I end up starting to build a shrine right next to his manor house. And it's just kind of this, like, subtle economic warfare. And I really got torn here. Should I send 600 wood? Should I send units? Should I send villagers? and I ended up sending the 4 villager shipment because I felt like I was so far behind him. And in hindsight, maybe I should have sent 600 wood, because if I gathered the wood, I definitely could have gotten some more shrines up. But I don't know. Hindsight vision's 2020. I do like having sent the 4 villagers. As you can see, I am shifting them around. I have a consulate up. I want to get a barracks up. And so now, like, I'm thinking in my head, what I really, really want to do is I want to build more shrines. But I've also lost games. I had a game against an Ottoman player that I didn't record that was just kind of warming me up for Japan, where I chose to build shrines instead of barracks. And then he ended up slightly outmassing me, and I held on to my town center for such a long time, but it was just like a 30-minute, eventually he overwhelmed me kind of thing. And so I was kind of like torn here, like, do I build shrines, do I not? And of course, now look at this. He's just killing all the animals above the field because he knows what I need to do. So he's directly trying to economic warfare counter me. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is horrible. But I need to get that barracks up because I can't not have units on the field. But in hindsight, he's British. What's he going to do? A grenadier rush? He's not me. I like to grenadier rush with British. Mainly because that's the only British strategy I actually know how to do. But it was just like one of those moments where it's like, nothing is going right. So I'm going to start putting down some Ashugaru musketeers from the barracks I just placed, which of course is a solid choice, but he's probably going to mass longbowmen. He's probably not going to go longbow hussar anyway, so it's just like all around this is a bad situation. Now he's got a tower up. I'm guessing he aged with the tower 200 gold, and I'm just like, holy crap, he's getting to all the herds before I am. I'm going to be in so much trouble. I'm not making villager. I'm trying to make sure that I keep, pumping out units. And now I want to make Yumi archers because they'll be better, but I want to keep building shrines. And so now I'm going to go back to make Ashugaru. And then I'm like, crap, I'm floating too many resources. Where can I still build? He's eating everything. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your children, hide your husbands. They're eating everything up in here. And I'm just like, holy crap, this is horrible. And I'm thinking, this is so bad. I'm recording this too. And I tell him stop in chat. Because I was just like, oh my goodness, can you stop putting down manners everywhere? Now he's building another tower. And I can't just go build. And there's like no more herds on that side of the map. And I'm just like, this is bad. This isn't okay. This isn't maybe not great. This is like legitimately horribly bad. Like we are in a world of trouble. So I'm going to send 5 Yumi now from my town center. From my home city, I should say. I'm going to start putting up a stable by my town center. I'm just figuring if he's seeing my Ashugaru or we get in a skirmish with Ashugaru, he's definitely going to reactionarily start spawning longbowmen. So if I can start making a mass, perhaps, of... If I can, oh, I forgot to mention, I sent up those Ashugaru to go raid, and then I forgot about it. So they're randomly attacking the tower, taking lots of damage pointlessly, doing absolutely nothing besides, maybe they're frustrating him, but I mean, I'm clearly not micromanaging them. So I mean, he could probably just look at them and be like, why are they standing there instead of getting anything done? I am going to start making some Nagi Nada riders, and I'm just like, holy crap, in trouble. But fortunately, I did send the Ashugaru from my home city, and I have been making some units, so I'm not in too much trouble. And even though he's got a larger force, I don't think he can quite tell how many men I actually have, because he backs away there from a fight that I feel like he probably should have won. But because my villagers are standing amongst all these other or because my soldiers are standing amongst the villagers in the trees, maybe he doesn't truly have a clear-cut impression on my numbers. And I am about to pop some Nagi Nada riders, so my thought is, alright, great, we'll pop some Nagi Nada riders, we'll clean up on those longbowmen, and we'll win this first engagement. So, not bad. And if you notice, actually, the score, I'm 15 points behind, 20 points behind. So the 33% advantage lead he had on me earlier has shrunk slightly. It's now a little bit more like a 20%. And I know that's really technical numbering, but it's showing that my growth rate right now is doing an acceptable amount. It's slightly keeping up with him. Now, I, again, really want to build shrines here, but I can't, and he's eating, and I'm like, well, I don't want to just put shrines pointlessly. And meanwhile, he's just got manners all over the place. Like, what is this guy doing? Is he a contracting company? Like, really? You don't need more manners, man. But, I mean, of course he does. That's his British strategy. But I'm feeling the pressure at this point because I generally like to sprawl out, take map control. And I feel like no matter where I turn to, he's already taking map control. Not to mention, my units aren't hotkeyed properly, and I'm trying to figure it out. And if you look up at the top right of the minimap, I, of course, still have some Ashugaru Musketeers randomly doing stuff. I have no clue what they're doing. nobody has any clue what they're doing, and I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'm trying to get my wonder guys to go do stuff. And look at that, just a random Ashugaru standing at the top of the map. That is of course a 90 resource investment. Useless. I'm just like, holy crap. But I do think, oh well, maybe I can make some Besteros, keep making some Naginata riders, and start pumping out Yumi to counter what he's done. Maybe I'm not dead yet. I am starting to hotkey my units, all my infantry on hotkey 3, cavalry on hotkey 4, and maybe I can do something. I'm not feeling particularly sexy at this point, but the score gap is actually closing just slightly, which I don't understand why. I did, of course, keep some decent map presence, but that tower by those 2 trading posts, dead center. It's like, I don't want to push in and take tower damage, and I don't know what to do. I only have 4 Naginata. I have my relatively small, massive units, and I don't have a market. But if you look here, actually, I've almost closed the score gap, so it's probably not the worst ever. And he's running away from my army. It actually looks like I have a little bit of a bigger mass, but of course my Naginata are pointlessly attacking the tower at this point, and I'm just like, what is going on? I can't even keep track of my units. I still have Ashugaru at the top of the map randomly wandering around. I'm trying to get all my Naginata on a hotkey and go raid, but of course he does have the manor houses absolutely everywhere, so it's not like I can just go run and kill him. It's like, oh, he's gonna run and see stuff. I am gonna get a free villager kill, 1 or 2, but that's it. And I'm just like, what? So I do end up sending the military ranged unit upgrade, thinking, well, I do have ranged units, I could use an upgrade. I'm gonna buy some market upgrades. He reminded me, to be honest, and not to make fun of it, but if he hadn't reminded me, I probably wouldn't have remembered. So he might have even, cost himself the game there by reminding me the market was there. Of course, this game is so far from over, and his score is starting to split a little bit from mine again. So I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, what is going on? And that's his mass. It looks fairly comparable to mine, but I do have some Naginata on the field. He doesn't look like he has any cavalry anywhere, and I actually end up getting a bunch of free kills here. He doesn't notice my mass approaching, because I'm betting if he was looking at the mini-map or doing something else, he was really just paying attention to the general color. And of course, the general color that he saw was just teal, didn't notice my mass walking up. So I am going to get a lot of free kills. And I'm trying to figure out at this point, like, okay, I have this military numerical advantage, but I don't have the strength to actually go push in. At least I didn't feel like I did, and kill him. And I'm actually now I'm like tied with score. So it's like, okay, good. We're not dead yet, but okay, bad. We're not really doing anything amazing yet. So I am kind of running around this forest. I'm just looking for things to kill, but I can't. There's outposts and manor houses everywhere. I'm just like, what am I going to do? And I realize, all right, you know what? I'm going to start looking to age. I'm going to upgrade my military. I'm going to keep massing to the best of my ability, because I am, of course, floating almost 2,000 in resources. So I really need to age. And then I can hopefully push through to him and go win the game. That's my thought. And I'm like, all right, why not? We'll get our Naginata mass a little bit bigger, and hopefully we'll be able to go kill him. So I now have enough resources to age, and I'm going to do that as soon as I pay attention to my town center. I am also going to start building the trading posts. I don't have them, and I am going to age, of course, with the Great Buddha. Beyond the fact that I do want a Great Buddha in my town, merely for the aesthetic purposes and the feng shui, which is very, very important to Age of Empires 3. If the feng shui of your base is off, you're going to lose the game every single time. Pro tip right there. Just look at any expert recording. Their feng shui in their bases is no. Okay. In reality, the reason why I built the Buddha was I wanted to know exactly what the hell was going on. I felt this entire game like he was everywhere, but I still also felt like I had a bigger military mass from all the little skirmishes we were having. So it was one of those things where I was like, well, you know what? I need to just figure out what the hell he has. So I was going to build the Buddha to kind of give me a peek-see at what's going on. And also just so I can start being a step ahead of the curve. Because he's had this map control, I've felt the entire game like I'm a few steps behind the curve. And I haven't enjoyed that. I am going to go to burn some houses and then run away. And I am, of course, popping out more Naginata. So my masses should be up to 14, 15. That's actually pretty formidable now. I mean, 15 cavalry against somebody who's probably rocking a fairly hefty amount of longbowmen. That's really, really good. And he will hit up to the third age. Not me, but he will hit up to the third age pretty quickly now. And that's actually kind of funny because I act like I'm surprised by it when he does. I type in "ooh" in the chat, like, "Oh my gosh, you aged up to the third age. I didn't see that coming." And I thought that was kind of funny because it's like, well, haha, secret. I'm aging up to the third age as well. He is, of course, coming to engage and kill me, stop me from getting that second trading post. I am, of course, wanting to upgrade the trading post so I can really start to spam my more powerful age 3 shipments. British don't have a ton of benefits in age 3, but I definitely do. I can send 7 villagers twice, 9 Yumi twice, 2 town center twice. There's a lot I can send. Meanwhile, I'm just getting a huge amount of kills. He's trying to maneuver and run away, and I'm not going to chase him back to that tower. I'm going to take my I'm going to take the advantage I got there. I definitely got way more kills than he did. I'm going to take that advantage, and I'm going to do what I can. I mean, my thinking here, my logical process here was, look, you know what? I won that battle. No need to lose my advantage by killing him. So I say, ooh, you aged, of course, like I previously mentioned. I guess I spoiled that a lot sooner than I probably should have. And I am myself going to hit up to the Fortress Age about now and be able to rebuild my shrine, and I'm going to be able to see what he has. And I'm looking through his base. There's, of course, about the 15 units walking up to my mass, and I realize, holy crap, that's his entire freaking military. Like, now is the time to push, and I have like 30, 40 units on the map. I can just go wreck him. So that's my thinking. Like, just let's get the men on the field. We have an advantage. We're letting him do whatever. But by this point, we somehow got a 30 score advantage. I'm going to send the 9 Yumi. Like, this is go time. He's putting up that stable. We're not going to let that stable go up. We're going to go get the kills. And we're going to make another 9 Yumi. And this is actually something interesting. You saw me floating those resources. And I said, you know what? I really need to go age. But if you think about it, or at least my impression here, is in his case, he shouldn't have aged. Because I aged floating a lot of resources, right? The wise usage of those resources. But I already had a mass. He was probably floating a substantial amount of resources, but he didn't really have a substantial mass. Or if he did, he was losing in those skirmishes. So I'm saying, I don't think it was necessarily wise of him to age. Now, he is going to try to run away with those Hussar, but they're going to be caught in melee mode by my Naginata. I'm going to get 1. I believe I'm going to get 2. Nope, I'm only going to kill 1, but I am going to damage 3 or 4 of them. I am going to be able to take down this stable. And if you look now at just the strength of my army compared to his, he is in a really bad way. That stable's about to go down. I have more units coming. And I'm trying to make sure my economy doesn't fall apart at this last junction. But I'm definitely thinking in my head, this is time for the death blow. Let's get rid of his cute little forward base here. Let's take advantage of all this. And let's just go wreck his face. Like, I'm thinking Dark Lord style. It's time to go, hand bone on you. Take control of the center of the map. Get my 3rd trade post up. And then go kick down your town center. And I don't think he'll be able to have a substantial enough mass to stop me by then. But I'm also not going to be stupid. So we are going to kind of, having taken out the town, or having taken out the outpost there, the barracks, and the stable, I am going to split up my massive units. I don't want to be stupid. I'm going to want the cav to flank him to get a little bit of pressure. And to my great joy and surprise, there is another herd of buffalo there, or yaks, or whatever they are, for me to actually eat. So I'm really, really happy. I am, of course, going to march my infantry mass into the center of his town, and I'm going to march my my Naginata around the top of his town. And look at this. I end up catching his cannons out of position, unprotected. And that pretty much will signal the end of the game. He didn't have a big mass to begin with, and now losing both of those cannons, it pretty much means it's over. I am going to have to start switching to rice patties because I didn't shift and make the send the orchard, but it didn't matter at that point. It was a GG. And he actually had, interestingly enough, run out of food. He had eaten most of the herds on the map, but he had still run out of food. And I gotta say, I was really, really surprised I won this, because in hindsight, watching this game play back, I wasn't as bad off as I thought. But while I was playing it, the amount of pressure I felt really freaked me out. Because, again, I'm normally the guy who's sprawling all over the map, stopping them, keeping the pressure on, and being in kind of this weird defensive, wait for him, he's everywhere, I can't do what I want, I can't push there. That was a really different position for me, and it kind of freaked me out mentally a little bit. And so I was really surprised I won. And yeah, no, he was gathering like really close to my town in hindsight. But I guess I ended up winning because I did get a better mass than he did. Ended up not losing units, trying to be a little bit smart. And I don't think necessarily it was because he was stupid. We do, if you end up reading the chat, you will see some some interesting reflections in game immediately after. But I don't know. I think I just ended up getting the better advantage of of all the little skirmishes we had, because when we would fight, it always seemed like he would push in a little bit and then I would back up for the most part. Like his initial push, I ended up repelling, getting a few stupid hits. His push on my trade post while I was being built, he missed the fact that my army was right there, so I probably got at least 6 or 7 kills. And keep in mind, when you both have 30 or 40 units, and that's it, 6 or 7 kills is actually a pretty dramatic thing. And then also, I got to cav faster than he did, so while he was massing longbowmen, I was also investing in Naginata riders, which was kind of a little bit of a mental thing for me, because I hate longbowmen. They have such a long range. And so, despite the fact that I started Ashugaru, I didn't stay making Ashugaru the entire game. In fact, a significant part of the game, I quit making Ashugaru. But it was pretty cool, because if we looked at the total resources, or the most and least resources, we were 13 apart. So our economies were dead even. I had the most military units and the most killed. But if we actually look, he was only 10 or 15 military units behind me. Now, Japan is slightly overpowered. I did send the ranged infantry upgrade, which definitely gave me a little bit of hands, gave me a pretty good advantage. But all around, I don't know. It just felt like it was a little bit interesting. Maybe his initial push wasn't a good idea. I mean, he had the 2 towers. He had 3 towers on the map. One on the western side of the river, 2 on kind of the more central E areas. I feel like he should have just sat back and boomed. He really only caused himself problems when he pushed in and lost units. Maybe. That's my diagnosis. But if you look at it, 92 to 103, I only made 11 more units the entire game. And if you think about like the military shipments and whatever, maybe, you know, he may have made more military units than I did. Not sure, but just saying. It was a really, really close match, and I guess I just got lucky with Japan's card shipment and order, and especially after a very, very bad beginning, I ended up pulling it through. So, I don't know. That was just a really strange match for me. Also, villager count, he was doing really good, but then he had long periods of stagnation, which I understand. His kill ratio was pretty bad, but of course I was going Naginata, and that kind of, like I tell him here, I started Ashugaru, but then I switched to Yumi Naginata, and that to me actually seems like a really good strategy for Japan, you know. That kind of shift, because after you're done getting your initial mass of shrines up, you're going to want to build a few more, but you're then going to probably start getting a surplus of wood, so it makes sense. I also never really built the second barracks or second stable, which I probably should have, and I did use the Bestiros, which is something I've never used before, but they did a pretty good job. And I also ended up using this time something I never had really used all that often, which was the Buddha. Of course, that's mainly because I don't play with Japan. But knowledge is power, and if I can know what's going on, I feel like I can generally adapt well enough. So being able to see him there told me that I can push in at a time when I nearly wouldn't have. But before I go, I do have not a quote of the day, but a personal service announcement. I'm going on vacation to my parents' house. I'm driving across the country, kicking it with them for a week, and then driving back. So after this video, I'm literally going to be disassembling my computer, leaving it in my apartment that I'm moving to. I'm shifting apartments to live with some friends, and then I'm leaving town. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like. Please look out for new content within 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the tops. And hasta luego, bitches. I will catch you next time. Good luck and happy hunting. My name is BTM, and I am out.